Okay, so how are you doing, and how have you been coping with the
Setting.
pandemic? You want to take turns? So look, now everybody's freaking quiet.
Let's go from Nancy down to Amber, across to Charity, and then I'll end with me. It'll be a nice little circle
All right, 2 seconds less. I'm normally locked in my house anyway, so that hasn't bothered me very much. One thing I haven't been able to do is go up to Chimera and Sebastopol, and I had to cancel some classes, which wasn't real happy about either. So other than that, I did a video on how to make masks, face shields, and so I've been making a bunch of those, and I'm okay. I just go out with, I got this, and I've got this, and I made alcohol wipes, and I'm mentally fine. I just think if I look out my window, I get nervous, so I try to keep the curtains shut.
Well, I'm in transition from getting my studio from the garage, which is opposite of you, and then moving it into my house. So it's super crazy, but it's fun and get some new things. And Chimera, it's been hard. I've had to reschedule a lot of classes, and kind of thinking about tapping into that online class thing and figuring out how that'll work. It's kind of complicated.
The director of the jewelry studio at Chimera, by the way, and
I'm
the treasurer on the board.
Oh, wow.
So we are deeply united. I mean, we actually met at Chimera.
We have mutual friends, though, which is odd,
Yeah, which is really weird. Some of them have strange connections. We don't want to So, but you guys, you're kind of just hanging at home all the time too, right? I mean, you used to do that a lot anyway, right, Amber?
Yeah, I'm a total hermit.
Yeah.
And so I'm home all the time. So, and I love my home. So I have a studio right down the hall, sort of going outside into our garage, which has concrete floors, but it's a really old house, so it's got cracks in the floor, and it's no heating at all.
And rats in the rafters. Don't forget the rats.
Oh yeah, roof rat.
Oh man.
You don't want to go hang out there. So
yeah,
what are you up to?
Outside.
You.
Yeah, I don't know. Life hasn't.
She can't see you hitting it.
What?
She can't see you hitting the screen. Like Nancy thinks that if you poke the screen, you get poked in the face. You're like,
oh, right. Oh, it's my turn. You're talking to me.
Yeah.
Oh, I was actually talking to Chris, but you go.
Oh, good. Oh, okay. Oh, you were talking to Chris? Then yeah, that works too. I thought he said me and then Chris.
It starts with a C. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Go, Charity.
Okay.
Go.
Sorry. I don't know. Like you guys have at-home studios, right? So we're kind of already primed for working at home. So that has been like kind of a funny transition. There's all these people that are like my best friend's a lawyer in Seattle. She had to like move her office home. So it's like all these people are like having to like change, but then the people that already worked at home were like, I kind of forget things are weird until I go outside.
Right.
Remember that things are weird. But I guess the one biggest change that has been is that anybody that was already working at home before this pandemic that has kids is actually working less now, or not able to work at all, or just having a lot of challenges. So I have 2 kids. I have a 15-year-old stepson, and then have a 3-year-old. And so I was working full time, 4 to 5 days a week pretty easily. And, had him in school and everything. And my teenager, would be at high school and everything. But that all changed beginning of March. So we've been having to do a little bit of the homeschooling thing. It is hard on little kids to be stuck in one place. So we're lucky. We live out rural. We have a huge yard. We have the hills to go hiking in and rivers to go visit and all that stuff. But it's still hard, like not getting to see other faces. And they're in such a special age for learning social skills and all of that. So I'm working 2 days a week. And then on weekends, my husband is lucky. He's still working. He works for an essential business. He does excavation stuff. So he does like septic work and all that, which is an essential business. So he's still working normal hours. But so he watches Zephyr like a couple of half days for me on the weekends. So really, I'm at super lowered business hours as far as what I'm able to do within reason without sacrificing my own health. You know, I could be burning the midnight oil and working through the night, but I'm not the best mom the next day when I do that. So I mean, we're actually doing pretty good. It's a lot more laid back, I guess, because we're not so close to people. We don't even live, we are in a small town. We're not even in town, we're out of town. You know, everyone's situation is different. I think it's so important to try to find your happiness no matter what situation you're in, right? Because that's something that's so out of our control right now, is that there's not much we can control right now, I guess, except what's in our head, right?
My son's living in Buenos Aires right now, and he's in an apartment in downtown Buenos Aires. So he has this little tiny deck, and that's only outside exposure he's allowed, because he went out on the street shopping with a friend of his, and the cops got them and said, "What the hell are you doing out here?" So they're really, really tight down there. So he's trapped alone in this apartment in a strange city. So we do a lot of Zoom stuff, you know, voice texting and stuff. All right, Chris, what's going on? You got kids too, right?
Yeah, but I've been training for this my whole life. The whole social isolation thing.
Have you?
I am, believe it or not, it may come across different on social media, but I am an introvert. I do not like being
We
around.
all are.
I know. I don't like being around a lot of people.
I'm an introvert. You know, we're all introverts.
But the whole thing is that, you know, being an introvert doesn't mean you like can't socialize and don't have good social skills and all that kind of stuff. So it's being isolated like this isn't necessarily something that's damaging to me. And I've chosen to just use that time to better myself, work on business things. Right now I'm self-employed, so essentially everything that I'm doing is for, it's like my hand in a whole bunch of different cookie jars. I'm working with Pepe Tools for product development, doing some sales and stuff for them. I'm working on my own Forge stuff. I got my shop organized.
Made a desk?
I made a wooden desk out of some old pallets. It's huge. It's 8 feet long. 8 feet long, and they're not like regular wood pallets. They're like the type of pallets that large machinery comes on.
Oh yeah.
So they're like thick.
Sturdier.
Yeah. So I was worked on that. That came home yesterday. I invented a couple new tools that are, one of them's on the market already, and then the other one is kind of it's getting there. It's almost there. So just a lot of different stuff. And then I've also been taking advantage of the social media platforms. The Line Punch Forge YouTube channel, I've been trying to upload as much as I possibly can there. I've been trying to stay active on Instagram and Facebook. Although last week after, I had to take a week off from all that stuff just because I was starting to drain myself down.
Yeah, you were on a lot. This kind of leads us into the second question. It's about, I have to read this because I have zero memory. Have you been exploring new avenues for reaching out, and do you see these new roads as continuing in the future? Also, charity suggestion is to also talk about if you've been reaching out to any small businesses and what have you done. So while you've got the floor, Chris, why don't you already kind of led into that. Why don't you continue in that vein?
Well, a little over a year ago, I started my YouTube channel and started to try and hit social media a little bit harder, in that I started to appreciate what it could do. Sorry, hiccups. It's a Zoom thing. Appreciate what it could do for, one, your own business, but two, especially in a time like this, where, you know, people can feel isolated, but not just isolated, but alone.
Yeah.
And the whole thing for the social media during this aspect is to reach out to other metalsmiths, whether it be small businesses or that, and then create kind of a uniting of the Metalsmiths, doing online classes, doing a lot of live feeds, teaming up with Pepe Tools. Cherry and I did one dual live on Instagram the other day for her unboxing. A lot of what I'm trying to do as far as small businesses go is I've already been doing the social media, but what I'm trying to do is unite more people together, encourage and reassure them that they're not alone. We're all in this together, and human beings are resilient creatures, and we're also social. So we need to maintain the social aspects of what keeps us sane. And sometimes you have to take advantage of the social media in order to do that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Amber, do you have any thoughts on this?
I'm on the same page with uniting artists and stuff. I do that. I've been doing that to cultivate Chimera, the studio, and everything, and bring artists and makers together. And I think we just need to keep on it. And I think maybe a little bit more than we've been doing, and showcase other artists and inspire and all that. I think that would be super good.
We've the jewelry studio has mostly been classes and then member use. So one of the things Amber and I've been working on is getting her doing her introduction to metalsmithing class and having it as a pay for class for benefit for Chimera, because we're deeply threatened right now. We may lose the makerspace due to, we had to cancel all our classes, and that was one of our main sources of revenue. We've got May kind of booked up. Oh, get out of here. We have May kind of booked up for classes, but we don't know if we're going to be able to even have them in May. So we're hoping, right?
Yeah, and I think that I want to promote, if things go bad for artists and they have to move, like they have to move out of their apartment and stuff, and they get something, they have to downsize, they can use our studio space because it's relatively low cost monthly, and use that.
$45 a month, and you get to go for 3 days. The thing is, we're still open, but we have really strict guidelines about how close people are together. We have spray bottles with bleach. We have masks. I'm going to be bringing in some shields. So we're trying to keep social distancing, yet keep it open, because quite a few members rely on us for their business.
Absolutely.
I'm not really going in there that much, though.
Neither am I. I hate putting on all that equipment. I feel like I'm going into battle.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Put on your bulletproof vest and.
Yeah, I gotta get one.
We have excellent members that I can text that do go in and be like, hey, can you fill the pickle pot? How's it looking? And the rolling mill, stuff like that.
Is it ruined yet? And Charity, what have you been doing new, and what do you see? Are you going to continue it in the future, and are you reaching out to small businesses?
Yeah, I guess, as far as, supporting other artists, all mediums, but definitely, Metalsmiths and everything, and I'm mostly self-taught, so I try to be an open book with anyone that is trying to learn themselves or whatever. So I've always been one into supporting and promoting other artists for sure. Right now I'm wearing, most of the jewelry I'm wearing that I've gotten from friends that have made it right. So it's
nice
to support other people. And I put on loads of jewelry whether I'm going somewhere or not. And I have social media at my fingertips. So if I'm wearing something from someone, a lot of times I'll put it in my story and tag them or whatever, just because, why not share the love? We're all in the same boat. And I definitely believe that when we give, we also receive. Everything is a circle. So people that feel those feelings of competitiveness, I don't think it ends up serving you very well in the end. And it's so much better to have the camaraderie and a good support network with each other. Even if someone had messaged me and I wasn't able to accommodate a timeline they needed, I can refer them to someone else.
Yeah.
Pass the business on. But what I've started doing in the last couple months since all this started is every time I make a sale, I pass on part of that sale to another small business in purchasing something from them. So whether it's cookies from a single mom down in LA that makes these cookies that look like freaking geode crystals, they're amazing.
Wow.
And, you know, my sister is in a tiny 1-bedroom apartment in Hollywood with her husband and their 4-year-old, and they're like climbing the walls. They don't even have a balcony. They have no backyard, 2nd-story apartment. Okay. So like, I sent them cookies from this wonderful mom that's in their area that is home and has 2 kids. So it's like, I try to do my research, and like, you find the little guys that you know that your purchase absolutely does matter, right? And these are the people that are not going to be able to necessarily easily get financial help from the government for their business anyway. You know, they might get their personal stimulus check, but who knows? You know, not everyone has gotten those yet. And who knows how that's going to pan out. So I just try and be really methodical, I guess, about that, and then be sure to promote if they are a business. A lot of the businesses I'm going for are ones that are have Instagram presence, so I can tag them in stories and help promote. And hopefully, that brings more business their way too. So that's just one way I'm trying to give back. Like I said, we're blessed. You know, even though I'm working part-time, because I mostly do custom orders, like I'm okay because I'm booked out far in advance. Like it's okay, and Aaron's still working. So like I see that as like, even if we get into financial pinches ourselves, we're still in a better spot than a lot of people. So we try to pass on that love and business however we can. I keep seeing these memes pop up that are saying, like, if you want a business to be there after all this is done, put money into it now, otherwise it might not be there. Whether it's a gift certificate or whatever. So I am a pretty positive person. I'm a little terrified what's on the other side of this, because I don't want to see buildings shuttered up that shouldn't be.
We don't want to see all the small businesses fall, because they're the ones that are going to go first. You know, we all own our own businesses in a sense, and we're going to be the ones that drop dead. Like Chimeras, like, you know, thank God somebody gave us a great $5,000 donation, and that's helped to make people be hopeful, which is something that a lot of small businesses are losing, is their hope. But then like Chimera's turning around and they're doing face shields for Kaiser Hospital because they're in desperate need. So it's nice to see somebody's helping us, and then we're helping somebody else, and then we keep doing this circle of life.
Lion King, right?
I have a question about what's going on with you guys in Chimera. Have you guys looked into doing online classes, like transferring a lesson to an online type live profile?
Well, yeah, actually, I'm going to embarrass Amber here. She came over and we filmed 2 videos. And, you know,
my first ever.
I understand. This is her first video, and I understand.
No good.
You get so nervous, you think you're talking to 375,000 people when it's just a iPhone. So anyway, she wasn't happy with the results. I thought it was okay. I think it would, but we need to do it again. So we're going to reshoot. She did 2 different classes, which were both really good and with lots of info. I haven't had time to do anything. I mean, I made the mass video, worked with you on those 2 videos. We did 2 live events with Pepe Tools, and unfortunately the second one, which was an actual project video, the whole first 2/3 of it got wiped out by my Wi-Fi crashing in the middle of it. So I've been dying to remake the first part of that video so that the instruction part is there. No, but
and Instagram cuts it off too.
Yeah, after an hour.
But I did an hour. I think it was an 1.5 hour video. But you know, I've been working. I'm a volunteer at Chimera too. My son founded the Chimera Makerspace 8 years ago, and I've been on board there since then. And I have a real deep commitment of time, money, and love for it. And so now I'm doing their books, and it's like all I do is bookkeeping lately, and try to function in life. So I'm missing the making video. I really like making videos. I'm missing that. I'm missing jewelry making. I haven't made crap for so long. So I have to get this done. So
Well, and we're also doing, so she's not talking about this either. We've started a website where she can sell some of the jewelry she's made, and then I'm helping her out with that. And then had classes, and she has basically novels of information for specific techniques. And so we're talking about doing ebooks. And
purchase an ebook or something like that.
We already have the website. We just have to launch it.
That's the Shopify store, and we've got most of the jewelry loaded on, and I've got a couple of for purchase videos that I'm going to keep reasonable so they're accessible to people. But it's just, once again, I can only be stretched so thin. And yesterday, like, I was going to work all day, and my mom called me and said her phone isn't working. She's 89. So I spent an hour and a half on the phone with Xfinity, ended up switching my service over, got her a new phone, got her new service set up. And then my sister, who was lonely, called me, and I was on the phone for 3.5 hours with her. So 5 hours of yesterday was gone instantly. And I was like, there I go, another day when I can't get any work done. And, you know, I'm frustrated at this point because I've got so much to do that it's kind of like when you want to clean your room and you walk in and it looks like this giant hellhole. And the first
like, nope.
thing is, I am never, ever going to be able to clean this space. And when
picking where to start, right?
I always told my son, start in the first place right near the door and just clean that spot, and then clean the spot next to it, and clean the spot next to it. But when you look at it, you get all stressed out because you've got this massive thing. So that's how I'm kind of trying to look at what I want to do now. It's like, okay, what has to be done right away? Blah, blah. And in a sense, not being able to go out and have social.
It's in your face.
I'm sitting here looking at it all day, but I'd spend a lot of time also going out and visiting friends for lunch or something like that, and then working later in the night. That's gone. So I should theoretically be able to get more work done, but it doesn't appear to be happening. So
there's that saying, I'm pretty much a vegetarian, but there's that saying, you can't eat an elephant in one bite. You have to have a little bit at a time.
Yeah.
No, because it's overwhelming. This whole studio, I hurt my arm. I guess I have like a pulled tendon because I lifted a kiln and tore it, which was really stupid. So I can't do a lot of work, actually. It's sort of a blessing that there's not a lot going on right now. I can't hammer, I can't lift things, whatever.
Yeah, she's in pretty bad shape here.
Oh man, that's not good.
You need to train a monkey. Train a monkey.
My stupid cat that I adopted. So anyway, I guess we're all seeing the future. How? I mean, for me, it's kind of doing what I've always done. You know, now there's new venues, and I'm thinking, like, I was looking at some facts today. There's so many new video connection stuff out there, and one of the things I was thinking was, is that going to diffuse people's attention from, let's say, YouTube, or is everybody going to be doing the new Facebook Live or the Instagram Live or some of the other 82 programs, apps that are out there right now? I don't know. What are you guys thinking? Because I guess you can do one video and put it everywhere, but a lot of these are live. So are you guys wanting to do more live stuff?
I've been doing quite a bit.
Yeah, I know.
I've been doing a lot of it. And Charity as well. Charity goes, she was doing live before I thought live was cool. So
I don't know about that. And my lives aren't cool, so I don't know if that's I'm just kidding.
I thought they were cool.
Always working. I have no filter, and like half the time things go right. Like I was doing my Bengal stretcher the other day, and I was like, let's just see what it does. Like, we're not going to kneel it and then crank and it pops. Right. I'm like, yep. Just throw that one off.
You know what's really cool about that is that stuff happens. Like when I make a video and I do that, I cut that section out and redo it right. Most of the time, not always.
I don't.
But I know you don't. But you know, I have a fragile ego. I guess.
You got an appearance to keep up.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't want to look like I'm always making mistakes, but in reality, we do. I mean, you don't usually go anywhere without making at least one. You know, so, and it's more honest in
I don't know, it's fun,
but you know, sometimes it's like, well, I kind of wish I hadn't said that.
That's where most of my haters come from.
It's kind of ballsy, but you can choose to not save it after you're done, and then it can be up for 24 hours and it just kind of disappears, or you can choose to go ahead and download it, and that way you can like make it like a permanent like IGTV or whatever you want. But I did find out the other day from watching I don't know, these times I've been trying to look at a lot of like encouraging like self-help type accounts, right, to keep mental mindset good. And Mel Robbins is pretty awesome. I enjoy her a lot. So she did an IGTV with another psychologist, and they're kind of talking about people that are unfortunately stuck in quarantine with someone that might be very difficult.
Oh yeah.
For anyone that's in that situation. But she was somehow streaming to Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter all at the same time, and I was like,
wow.
Live streaming. It's a service you can pay for.
Like an app.
It's a separate program, and it'll actually allow you to do live streams to all of those platforms at the exact same time, and people can be commenting from all those platforms, and it's filtering them all together, from what I understand.
I can't handle the comment part. I can't anything besides what I'm doing at the moment. Like when Amber filmed me the last time, it was really helpful because she was able to read the text, you know. What I'm doing, I don't know how you guys do it. I'm totally impressed. It must be because I'm 100 years old, but I don't know. It's impressive.
You just ignore it.
I get distracted
for a time that it's convenient, and then you can just go back and
yeah, it's very distracting because how do you focus on something that it's really complicated and answer questions? So for me, live is probably not the route I'm going to go because it is distracting as hell, and I like the editing thing. But
I learned a lot about myself with not being descriptive enough or overly boringly descriptive.
Yeah.
Not naming the tools I'm using properly or whatever. I got to get used to it.
Amber, that one may never change. At least for me, it doesn't. That's why the universe invented the word thingy and that thing over there. You don't need the words. Everybody helpfully fill them in for you 5,000 times below the video. Like I forgot the word for crescent wrench. Oh my God, it was like I had stabbed puppies in the eyes or something. It's a crescent. It's a spanner. It's a block. I mean, because every country
open-ended adjustable wrench.
Yeah. So Chris, do you see yourself doing live?
I do. I like the live. My brain works it's powered by a squirrel running on a little cage. So it's just like, can't stop. Sitting here and talking, I have to fiddle with things while people are talking, so I listen. So I'm like playing with knives and listening and
is that what you're doing down there?
I am, yeah.
Both coming out.
I had to relight my incense and all that kind of stuff. So the lives are easy for me because my brain works like that. I can talk. I can completely interrupt myself in the middle, go, hey, that's a great question, answer it, and then go, where were we?
Yeah.
And, back to it. That's just the way my mind's just constant. I have a hard time going to sleep. Right?
I sound like Amber over here.
Help me.
I have ADD. For real.
Well, I mean, in a way, it's a really cool thing. Like Chris is saying, Amber, it enables you to cover 67 topics at one time because your mind's jumping all over the place, right?
Yeah.
For me, if I don't do all these things, I have like thousands and thousands of pieces of paper with notes on them. That's how I function these days. Live for me is very difficult, so I don't know if I'm going that route. But
one of the issues I have come with my style is the mistakes. Like I'll include them, and I'm like, listen, I'm not perfect. I make these mistakes, but it turns out that a lot of the haters that from YouTube or Instagram or whatever are like, I hate that you make mistakes. I'm like, shut up. You just don't put yours on camera. I'm completely okay with making mistakes because I made one just a second ago, and I'll make it in another 2 seconds. And don't pretend like you don't.
Your mom and dad made a mistake, haven't you?
It's sad. At least 40 years and 9 months ago.
So Amber, we had a hater on the live thing we did with Pepe Tools.
Oh no!
I thought Amber was gonna crawl through the phone and bite the person. It was.
I didn't see that one.
I didn't see that either.
Professional and said things like she's boring and stuff, and I told her to
It's so nice to
Nice.
have a pit bull on your side.
I had one person completely just decide that I was the person that they were going to harass for like a week and a half. And so my response every single time they'd say something mean was, "I'd forgive you." And that's all I'd say is, "I forgive you."
Nice.
And they finally blocked themselves. Like, take care of yourself, would you? Because you're not worth my time.
You told me this story before, and
I like that.
I love it. And I actually used it with that company in New York that I had a problem with pedals with.
Foot pedals?
And anyway, I forgave them. Okay, so let's see what's going on next with you guys. Any new projects, new ideas, and any silver linings in the pandemic space-time continuum? Look at all those minds just spinning. Man.
Sorry, I got distracted.
Guys, stop playing with the knife.
I'm not. It's down.
The pretty lady's asking you a question.
It's not this time. It's not this time.
Get it out without screaming.
I bought a microscope and I'm anxious to take some online classes. There's somebody in Australia, I don't remember the name of the place, but you could do it monthly, and it has really good stone setting classes.
Gemology?
No, just stone setting and jewelry making, but the guy is pretty awesome, or gal or whatever. And then I'm supposed to go to the GRS. I'm on the waiting list for their one of their classes, but I don't know if it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have the money right now even, but you know, that's exciting. I'm ready to get going on that. I don't know why I waited so long.
Yeah, I mean, now's the perfect time to do it too, you know?
Yeah.
All, you know, her husband's home now and my husband's home now, and it's kind of
I'm an 18-year-old.
Oh yeah, I mine far away, so I don't have to worry about that. But we have the house divided. That new deck that we just built, my husband has literally peed around the perimeter and said mine. So he's out there all day long.
He's filling sandbags, making a bunker.
I saw him done, I think. Yeah. So, so what about you, Jerry? What's the future look like? Projects? Anything special you're gonna do?
Well, I got to get caught up on my custom work, but that being said, I know how I get, and I'm an undying optimist, like almost to a fault. Okay, I'm like extra positive about like how much I can get done in a set period of time. I'm usually wrong, but I'm still optimistic. What I did is actually I actually got to take a wax carving class from Kate Wolf back in August.
Oh wow!
And I have like the setup for all the stuff, and have even gotten stuff like a vulcanizer for like making my own molds. Like I have this whole thing that I want to like dive into, but I haven't been able to like find the extra time to like even get it going. Yeah. So I've actually strategically planned some custom. One client that's like my superstar client, and she's super amazing. She's just really supportive in general, and she knows what I'm learning. So I'll just be like, hey, I really want to do this. I've never done it before. How do you feel about me making that with your custom? She's like, okay. So I have some like wax carving stuff that I'm gonna be doing, and I have an old vintage kiln that I have for my burnout kiln that I need to try out. So like I kind of have some stuff like that I'm really looking forward to doing and getting her custom done that's been waiting for a while. So that's kind of my thing that I'm looking forward to, I think, the most right now is just, I'm just so in love with this job. There's so much room for growth all the time. There's always something to learn. There's actually impossible to know everything. So that's something I'm really excited for, is to actually utilize all of that information that Kate gave me.
Good. That's great. I love wax carving myself. I wish I had more time. I was talking to Chris the other day about, you know, he does lapidary and faceting and jewelry making and tools. You know, it's like when I first started this, I started out, okay, I just want to learn how to solder, you know, basic. I want to make what I have in my head. And as the more I learned, every year that went by, I went, oh, wow, I could do enameling, and I could do chasing repoussé, and I could do engraving, and I could do etching. And I finally realized I had hopped from art thing to art. I was an etcher, a painter, you know, a sculptor, all these different artist things, and I always got to a point where I was bored. And I've, for sure, with metalsmithing, jewelry making, I have never once been unchallenged. Never. If you don't feel challenged, start making it smaller.
Either go really big or go really small.
That's what I want to do.
Make it really tiny and move.
Tiny, shiny.
And that'll make you go, okay, wait, I'm not done. I don't know. I have met a bored jeweler. She did it for 45 years. But I think part of it was that she just stayed in her place where she was comfortable. So I'm always throwing myself into things that I don't know anything about for the hell of it, you know?
Yeah, try out new stuff. That's how you grow.
Yeah.
How do you grow if you don't get uncomfortable?
Yeah, if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing.
If you're not making mistakes, you're not growing.
Yeah, you don't even know what you have coming. You know, you're not aware of the potential for your work or the potential for creation or the potential for everything, because you just don't have the physical experience yet. And that's the only thing. You have to screw up constantly, and you got to do it all the time. Drawing to me is huge. You got to have sketchbooks, drawing. I have probably 10,000 pages of sketches, and every once in a while I'll look at them and go, oh, that's cool, maybe I'll make that, you know?
Yeah, it's great.
So they remain inspirational to this day. What about you, Chris? What, you remember what the question was?
What are you looking forward to?
What comes after this? I'd like so in our area the woods have pretty much shut down, and that's where I do a lot of my gem hunting and my looking for material and all that kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to getting a little bit more time with lapidary. I'd like to, so I've done some rose cuts on my faceting machine, but I'd like to do more rose cutting. So for those of you who are listening and don't know what rose cutting is, think of a combination of a cabochon and a faceted stone. It's just it maintains the flat back of the cabochon, and the top portion of the curved cabochon is now faceted. So I played around with designs like that. I'd like to use that particular design with some rough face stuff. And then again, just growing the social media, growing the YouTube and the Facebook and the Instagram and all that kind of stuff, trying to creating, there needs to be more positive out there. And I found that the shortage when it comes to, I bored Amber, she left.
Yeah.
Like I freaking hate rose cuts.
She got bored.
Yeah. So, but my whole thing is that, you know, when it comes down to providing a platform for teaching or for influencing or whatever you want to call it, the shortage that I see is that there are not a lot of artists out there who show their mistakes in their videos.
Right.
And I find that some beginning metalsmiths go, well, I just watched a video on how to make this perfect blah. And I'm like, I'll make videos on how to fix your mistakes.
Yeah, that's a great idea, actually. I like
and
that.
A lot of the time, just trying to be as down to earth as I can.
Actually.
Yeah, yeah, I would. Please do,
really
because honestly, that's kind of where I like what I like to do is I'll include it. I won't edit it out; it'll stay there. I'm like, oh crap, that was a bad one. But then the other side of it too is losing your train of thought and not knowing exactly what you're going to say next. So, it's gone. It left. I'm just gonna smile and look pretty now.
Amber, okay, well, let's move to Amber. Amber, what do you want to do? You want to get your studio done, I know, right?
Yes. And then once my arm gets a little bit better, I'm wearing a brace. I want to start just using my studio more, you know, in here. I go to Chimera a lot, and, you know, I love that, but I also have this space here, so I want to start using it.
We set up a full casting. We got a partial, well, 7/8 container, 2/3 of a container, right, Amber?
Yeah.
And we set up full casting in there. We've got we have the wax injector. We have a big kiln that someone donated with a control.
Yeah, we have 2 kilns.
Yeah, we have 2, and then we have the we're using the vacuum cast. instead of using the vulcanizing stuff, we're using the clear, what the hell's it called?
Silicone.
The silicone molds.
Yeah.
I've seen those. Those are pretty cool. And
Yeah.
you're supposed to be able to get quite a few uses out of them, right?
Yeah, and what the cool thing about the clear is when you're cutting them open, you can actually see where your thing is, your piece is.
And then when you inject the wax, you can watch it flow in, which is kind of fun because then you know for sure if it's or
The other positive to that is that if you have another wax mold that you want to make a mold of, you're not subjecting it to heat to wax
Right.
so you can make basically it's a cold mold.
Yeah.
Yep. And then it's also great with
nature.
Yeah, like a little branch. You try to do that with the vulcanized. You've got all that pressure plus the heat. It could damage it. So
It could work.
So yeah, the other thing that we're looking for in the future, we had the Enamelist Society have one of their workshops at Chimera this year, and we got to meet some amazing, and I mean, I was just floored by how good the quality work was, and we'd like to see more of that kind of stuff. And Amber's working on a kids' summer jewelry
team.
Fun. That's awesome.
Chicos.
That's really awesome.
So she's working on that now, and
I've been doing teaching classes at the library a little bit too. So
for teens,
for teenagers. So that's been fun. And I taught at another high school, a private high school. Yeah, I like the teens. They're
get them hooked young,
and they want to be there, so they have a different attitude rather than me trying to force something on them.
Yeah, I taught high school jewelry making for a year, and I had 27 students, and I think they were my best students I've ever had, because they didn't understand they just went for everything, and every single thing I said,
fearless.
Absorbed it.
They're fearless too. They go a lot quicker.
Adults tend, like silver, they've got this preciousness which is attached to it, and so are terrified to solder it. And unfortunately, you're never going to learn to solder unless you melt down a couple of settings. I mean, you just got to do it. So, and it really makes me nervous. I've had to take people's arms while they're soldering and hold them in over the work so that they don't pull back too soon,
You melt that silver.
And actually, one of the things I do when I do a soldering class, beginning soldering class, is I make them melt silver.
It's a good idea.
See how far you go with this, before that you have a meltdown on it.
One of the important things from that, just to add on, is when I teach people how to solder, I'll have them pay attention to the surface so they can see the reticulation happening. Then they know that as soon as that reticulation happens, they're not too far away from melting their stuff.
Yeah.
So giving kind of visual cues and stuff like that. So you're going to see the surface area do this. You're going to see the metal do this, and then just have them do it. They're like, oh, that's what you mean. Same thing as the first time they see solder flow. They're like, oh, that's what flash looks like.
Yeah. And it's really hard to show on camera because you've got the red of the torch, which is blinding out that silver line that's such a fragile little thing. Hopefully.
I go over and kneeling a lot. That helps them understand heat control.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap this up. Even though this is fun, we can always do it again. I hope. Maybe we can.
I'm down.
If anybody wants to pick a topic or something, we can always meet again and do another one. Maybe even try a live one.
Ooh.
What are you doing in like 5 minutes?
Probably start editing this.
Oh, wait, you're going to edit it?
As Nancy's looking at all of her face masks and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my what?
Oh, all the face mask piles and all that stuff that you said you have all these things laying around your to-do list.
Yeah.
I got to pass these out this week. I got to drop them off some at Chimera. So
anyway,
I like your warrior princess one that you made.
I call her Super Cowgirl because it looks like Xena, but there's cowgirl and cacti.
It's like legit.
But,
great.
What?
I remember what I was going to say since I went blank. I'm reevaluating what is available on the market for beginners toolkits. Because most of the crap that you see as advertised as beginners toolkits
crap.
you don't need it.
Don't buy it, people.
So yeah, don't buy that. So what I'm working with some people, maybe even, you know, on trying to establish what is a decent startup kit and why you don't need to spend, you know, $800 on a basic jewelry startup kit.
Right.
I have a linked Google Doc for students of stuff I recommend to.
Yeah.
Instead of buying a kit, you know, just buy the things that you need.
Yeah.
And then
I'd like to try and put together something and then
No,
say,
I think that's great.
Yeah.
What we have now is
exactly, because, you know, there's tools that I have that I bought or I inherited that I'm like, I'll never use that.
Yeah. I had a lot of those. I donated them all to Chimera.
Chimera has a lot of those.
Yeah, I mean, I bought stuff. There's this guy who used to deliver tools around Northern California. His name was Alpine, believe it or not. And he, and he would get all these tools, these cheap tools from India. And he would go up to like the Mendocino Art Center when we were having jewelry classes there. And
I bought stuff from him.
Everybody who lives in this Northern California.
He wore the overalls. It's so cute.
Yeah. Chicken bones stuck in his beard, and I'd have to pick him up. He was a character, let's put it that way. But I bought stuff from him that I had no idea what it was for. And then I'd go home and go, okay, well, what do I do with this damn? And this is before video on YouTube, and pretty much almost before the internet. Actually, it was before the internet. And so, you know, I finally, after I moved my studio from the shed out back into my garage, I was like, okay, I think it's time to get rid of this thing that I still don't know what it's for, because I don't think it's a jeweler's tool. I'm going to get back to Chimera and this, and I went through and I thought about all the money I wasted on stuff that I never used. You know, I don't recommend ever people going out and buying a bunch of tools unless they know what they need and what they need it for, because otherwise you're wasting your money.
We were talking the other day about making jewelry tool kits for sale based on a project.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, here's the project we're going to teach you how to use. These are the tools that you're going to need. And that way they're not. And then the next kit, you need an additional this tool and this tool.
So you do bits by bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Through skills.
Build on each other. Yeah.
I'm still trying to get an engraver's ball. I mean, it's been a long time. But someday I have a friend who may get me one. No one here, but
nobody
I acquired an old one and I want to refinish it, and then I'm hoping to get the GRS bits and see if they'll fit, but I don't know if they will.
For what?
For my engraver's ball.
Like an ancient engraver's ball.
For your LPFG.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll get one of those.
Those fit in there.
I knew there'd be a product placement somewhere.
But I mean, the cool thing about an engraver's ball is it's just to show the when it comes down to you don't need to spend a lot of money.
Right.
I've been messing around with different. This is a gear driven inside diameter ring holder.
Yeah, I saw you
using
that.
Yeah.
It's curious as hell how you made that.
With tools.
Why don't you make it and sell it? Because the GRS is expensive.
It is. This you know, it's just I'll sell one. I'll say this one for $1,000.
Okay.
Prototype.
But the other, like, this is a hockey puck.
Yeah.
And I drilled a hole in it and attached a drill chuck.
Oh.
And then this fits in my ball vise. So I can move it around and I can hold a round object to engrave.
Oh,
so I mean, these are like $20 at the hardware store. And, yeah.
I don't think they sell hockey pucks in where we live.
Oh, you know, I'm closer to Canada, you know. I'll have my family in Canada send you some hockey pucks.
Oh, great! Just what I need.
Yeah. They work great. They work great as you know, little soft anvils too.
Yeah, I would imagine a nice. Is it rubber? What's it?
Oh yeah, it's hard rubber.
Rubber.
Like a hard urethane.
Oh, that would be nice for a hammer. Yeah, it's a good idea. All right, well, I'm going to say goodbye. Time to go wander off.
Love you.
Pick some blueberries, I hope. Love you all.
blueberries.
And we'll do this again, okay?
Yes,
I'm
thank you
down.
for having me. That was fun.
Yeah,
See you guys.
Lockdown. Woo!
Woo!
Woo! Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Shut this
Bye.
off. Bye.
I can still hear you, Nancy.
No, I'm working on it.